Words have power. The right ones can make a woman fall head over heels for you. The wrong ones, they can shatter her attraction in an instant. You might think you're being real, vulnerable, or even romantic, but sometimes you're unknowingly pushing her away, maybe for good. In today's video, we're diving deep into the things you should never say to a woman, especially if you want her to see you as a man worth her respect and desire. Welcome back to Man of Substance. Today's topic is a game changer, because so many guys get this wrong, not because they're weak, but because they've been taught all wrong. Society screams at you to bare your soul, spill your feelings, and lay it all out there. But let's cut through the noise. Not everything that feels healthy actually works when it comes to sparking and sustaining attraction. We're not here to sugarcoat or play nice. Women are drawn to strength, confidence, and a man who owns his presence, not to desperation, oversharing, or emotional chaos. Harsh, maybe, but it's the truth you need to hear. If you've ever said something to a woman and felt her vibe shift, her texts go cold, her energy pulls back, or she starts drifting away, chances are you tripped over one of the unspoken rules we're about to unpack. This video isn't just about avoiding cringeworthy lines. It's about dismantling the beliefs and phrases that silently erode your masculine edge without you even realizing it. So lock in, because what you're about to learn might flip everything you've been told upside down. Let's get to it. Number 1. The words that silently kill attraction. In the stormy sea of modern dating, many men mistakenly believe that saying, "I can't live without you," or "you're the only one I have," will win a woman's heart. These phrases may sound romantic, even noble, but in truth, they often signal emotional dependence, a form of subtle self-abandonment that silently erodes masculine energy and kills attraction. Imagine a lighthouse that flickers every time the sea rages. It fails its role not because it lacks light, but because it depends on calm waters to shine. That is what emotional dependency does to your presence. This is where Stoicism comes in, not as a cold philosophy, but as a fire that teaches men to shine, regardless of the storm. From a Stoic lens, attraction doesn't arise from emotional pleading, it comes from strength, presence, and the silent dignity of self-control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength in love." This strength is felt most when you resist the urge to express neediness, and instead radiate quiet confidence. Emotional independence isn't about being distant, it's about being grounded in your own worth, so grounded, in fact, that you never speak from fear of loss. Let's analyze the impact. When a man says, "I don't have anyone else," he may intend to express loyalty, but what's heard is lack, scarcity, and desperation. Attraction dies in the soil of pressure. The woman now feels responsible for his happiness. What could have been a connection between equals now turns into a burden. It's not because she's cruel, it's because nature is wired to respond to strength, not surrender. The more he pleads, the more she withdraws instinctively, emotionally, even biologically. This is why emotional restraint is not manipulation, it's respect. Respect for your own dignity and for the space she needs to desire you. Stoicism trains you in this art. Epictetus warned, "Don't seek to have events happen as you want them to. Instead, want them to happen as they do happen." Translated into dating, don't chase her reaction. Control your response. Stop talking to prove your worth. Let your silence say, "I'm enough." Here's how to act. First, reflect. Are your words a mirror of strength or a cry for validation? Then pause. When emotions surge, do not spill them in fear. Instead, speak with restraint. Say, "I enjoy your presence," not "I need you to stay." Build a life that's rich with purpose, friendship, and direction, so you never make someone else the reason you breathe. This kind of presence is magnetic. It draws her not because you beg, but because you don't. Because she feels you are whole with or without her. And paradoxically, that wholeness is what makes her want to stay. So the next time you feel the urge to say, "I can't live without you," ask yourself, is it love or fear talking? Now, speak out and comment below. I choose strength over need. Number 2. Why I can't live without you kills her desire. It sounds poetic. A man, filled with emotion, tells a woman, "I can't live without you." Hollywood would have us believe this is the ultimate declaration of love. But in reality, this phrase is not romantic, it's a red flag. It doesn't awaken passion, it triggers pressure, discomfort, and often quiet withdrawal. Why? Because this statement transfers the burden of your emotional survival onto her shoulders. From a psychological perspective, this is a textbook case of emotional dependency. It announces to her subconscious, "I have no stable inner world unless you validate me." That's not love. That's self-neglect dressed as intimacy. And for a woman wired to feel attraction towards strength, leadership, and self-possession, these words silently erode her respect. Let's look through the lens of Stoicism. Epictetus taught, some things are up to us, and some things are not. Your thoughts, your choices, those are yours, but the feelings or presence of another, outside your control. When you say, "I can't live without you," what you're really saying is, "I've handed over my inner world to something I don't own." You've surrendered your autonomy. You've placed her in the driver's seat of your self-worth. And no healthy relationship can thrive under that imbalance. Women want to be chosen, not clung to. They want to feel desired, not depended on. A man who says, "I love your presence in my life, but I stand firm, even in your absence," speaks from power. He honors her without losing himself. Let's ground this with a real-world example. After a heated argument, a man texts, "I'm nothing without you. I can't live without you." Her response, a few short words, cold, distant. Why? Because he just confessed that without her, he crumbles. He became a project, not a partner. But imagine if he had said, "I value what we share, and I hope we can find clarity, but either way, I'll be okay." That response radiates sovereignty, and ironically, that's what reawakens her desire. Here's how to shift. Before speaking, breathe. Ask, is this a truth of strength or a plea for security? Reframe your love not as dependence, but as deep appreciation. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, you have power over your mind, so use that power to affirm your worth, regardless of anyone's decision to stay or leave. Because the truth is simple, no one is drawn to someone who cannot stand alone. But many are irresistibly pulled toward those who can. Now, comment below, I value myself before anyone else does. Number 3, the hidden damage behind "you're out of my league." At first glance, saying "you're out of my league" might seem charming. It's often delivered with a smile, intended as a compliment. But beneath that softness lies a silent act of self-sabotage. This one phrase, meant to praise, does more harm than good. It doesn't raise her opinion of you, it quietly lowers yours. From a psychological standpoint, it's an expression of unworthiness. You might think you're being humble, but what she hears is, "I see myself as below you," and no matter how kind she is, that framing shifts the energy. It makes her feel like she's in a superior role, and attraction doesn't thrive on hierarchy. It thrives on mutual recognition. Stoic philosophy offers sharp clarity here. According to Marcus Aurelius, you have power over your mind, not outside events. When you say someone is out of your league, you surrender your mental sovereignty. You allow superficial comparisons, looks, status, attention to define your worth. Instead of standing in your own presence, you cast yourself as the lesser character in your own story. This isn't confidence, it's hidden insecurity, and women feel it. Let's consider a real-life moment. On a date, you glance at her and say, "You're way out of my league." She may blush or laugh it off, but over time, your behavior subtly adjusts. You hesitate to lead, overcompensate to impress, or fear losing her. Eventually, she senses the imbalance. What began as flattery turns into a lack of polarity. You become predictable, safe, but not magnetic. The alternative, confidence wrapped in respect. Instead of saying, "You're out of my league," say, "I enjoy your energy and I like the way we connect." It's a statement of equal presence, not passive praise. You acknowledge her value without erasing your own. Want to break this pattern? Start with self-identity each day. Write down 3 things you bring to a relationship: humor, patience, ambition. Build from that. When you speak from that foundation. Women are not drawn to the man who bows in unworthiness. They are drawn to the man who stands in quiet certainty, who sees himself as a gift, not a gamble. Now, comment below. I don't chase leagues, I raise my own standard. Number 4. Why I'll do anything for you kills her respect. At the heart of love is giving, but when giving turns into surrender, attraction fades. Saying "I'll do anything for you" sounds like devotion, but it often masks desperation. It's a subtle cry of "please validate me," and few things are less attractive than a man who abandons himself to win someone else. What makes this phrase dangerous isn't the sentiment, it's the lack of boundaries. You're not just offering support, you're declaring submission, and that tells her you have no internal compass, no non-negotiables in the eyes of a woman. This erodes your masculine frame faster than any mistake you could make. Psychologically, it signals a loss of self. According to boundary theory, attraction requires tension, a respectful push and pull between 2 whole individuals. When you dissolve your needs, your time, and your standards for her comfort, she doesn't feel closer, she feels burdened. She tests you more, not because she's cruel, but because she needs to know. Do you have a spine beneath your affection? The Stoics warned us of this centuries ago. Epictetus taught, "Never say of anything, 'I have lost it,' but only, 'I have given it back.'" Applied to relationships, this means give only what you can give freely, without becoming a slave to the outcome. A man without boundaries isn't loving, he's lost. Consider this example. You tell her, "Whatever you want, I'll do it, just tell me what to do." At first, she might appreciate the effort, but slowly, the magic dims. She stops asking your opinion. She stops being excited. Why? Because a man who can be shaped into anything stands for nothing. Instead, say, "I want to make you happy, but I also honor who I am." That one line holds your center. It says, "I'm generous but not spineless. I love, but I don't disappear." To live this way, start small. This week, say no to one thing that doesn't align with your values. Notice how powerful you feel. That's the energy women crave, not obedience, but a man with a map of his own. True love doesn't ask you to sacrifice your soul. It asks you to bring it whole. Now, comment below. I give from strength, not surrender. Number 5. Please don't leave me, the desperate plea that destroys trust. Few phrases collapse masculine presence as quickly as "please don't leave me." It's the verbal equivalent of emotional collapse, a sign not of love, but of inner instability to a woman. It doesn't express commitment, it screams fear, and fear, when weaponized as attachment, is never attractive. This phrase hands her all the emotional power. You're no longer an equal partner in connection, you're a beggar for emotional shelter. And even if she once respected you, this plea rewrites the dynamic, from desire to duty, from magnetism to obligation. No woman wants to feel like she must stay out of pity. In psychological terms, this is the manifestation of emotional dependence. Instead of owning your reality and facing possible separation with grounded acceptance, you outsource your emotional survival to her presence. The moment you say, "I need you to stay," what she hears is, "I can't stand on my own." Stoic philosophy offers a radical antidote to this weakness. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live." Translated to relationships, this means fear not her absence, but a life lived without self-respect. Your presence must remain strong whether she stays or leaves. Let's revisit a familiar scenario. She brings up separation. You panic and plead, "Please don't leave me." She goes silent. uneasy, unsure. Now contrast that with this response. I respect your decision. If we part ways, I'll still be grateful for what we had. This isn't passive, it's composed. It shows strength, not need, and often it's the very moment she pauses, reconsiders, and sees your worth again. To rebuild attraction, shift your mindset from clinging to standing. Practice being at peace with all outcomes. That doesn't mean being cold, it means being calm. Emotional composure is the rarest currency in a chaotic world. This week, take notice of moments where you fear abandonment. Instead of pleading, breathe. Say to yourself, if she leaves, I still remain. Watch how your energy changes, not just in her eyes, but in your own. True power is not about keeping someone. It's about being so grounded. You never fear who stays or goes. Now, comment below. Even if she leaves, I remain whole. Number 6. I don't have anyone else. The scarcity mindset that kills attraction. When a man says, I don't have anyone else, he thinks he's being sincere, perhaps even romantic. But in reality, he's exposing one of the deepest flaws in attraction psychology. Scarcity. Instead of showing loyalty, he reveals dependence instead of love. He signals a lack of value. And nothing makes a man less attractive than appearing like no one else would want him. This mindset is a trap. In Stoicism, Epictetus teaches, it's not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Believing that you have no one else makes it true, not because it reflects reality, but because it shapes your posture, your tone, your energy. You act as if she's your only lifeline. That energy is suffocating. From a psychological lens, this is the opposite of social proof. People want what others want. Women feel drawn to men who are seen, respected, and desired by others, not men who present themselves as emotionally stranded. A man who feels abundant in life, who is connected, fulfilled, and admired, radiates silent confidence. That's the magnetism you lose when you say, I don't have anyone else. Consider the real-life effect. Imagine you tell her that she's all you have. The pressure now shifts to her to fill the emptiness, to validate your worth. But love is not a rescue mission. The more you place your emotional survival on her, the faster she retreats, sensing the emotional weight you're trying to hand her. Instead, shift to the abundance mindset. You don't have to lie or pretend you're surrounded by admirers. You simply need to live like your life is full with friends, goals, hobbies, and a future that's meaningful regardless of any one relationship. Say this instead. I enjoy being with you, but I'm also fulfilled on my own. That's the Stoic frame, loving from strength, not from need. Practical challenge. For the next 7 days, document one thing each day that makes your life abundant. It could be a friendship, a project, a goal you're proud of. Build emotional equity outside her. She'll feel it. She won't say it, but she'll notice the difference. Because when you show her, you don't need her to feel whole. That's when she wants to be part of your wholeness. Now, comment below. I live in abundance, not need. Number 7. Tell me what to do. When you lose leadership, you lose her. There's a hidden message embedded in the phrase, tell me what to do. On the surface, it sounds open-minded, even respectful. But deep down, it reveals a man's fear of responsibility, his avoidance of decision, and ultimately, his surrender of masculine leadership. And when a man gives up leadership, attraction begins to die quietly but surely. From a psychological standpoint, women are drawn to men who lead with clarity, not men who ask for a roadmap to connection. This isn't about being controlling, it's about direction. Masculine energy, at its core, seeks to move forward with purpose. When a man constantly defers to her for decisions about the relationship, about conflict, even about how to please her, he slowly erodes her trust in his steadiness. Stoic philosophy speaks directly to this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "A man's worth is no greater than his ambitions. If your only ambition is to please her, then you're not leading, you're following her shadow. She doesn't want to be the general of your relationship. She wants to be with a man who knows who he is, where he's going, and invites her into that direction, not waits to be told. Here's the trap. You might think you're showing flexibility or consideration when you ask, "What do you want me to do?" But the real signal you send is this: "I'm afraid of being wrong. I don't trust my own judgment. Please lead me." Over time, that dynamic becomes exhausting for her, and without even realizing it, she begins to withdraw, not because she stopped loving you, but because she stopped feeling safe in your presence. Replace the question with intention. Don't say, "Tell me what to do." Say, "Here's what I'm thinking. Does that feel right to you?" Show initiative, then include her, not out of insecurity, but out of emotional intelligence. Practical challenge. Every day for a week. Take the lead in one small thing. Choose the restaurant. Plan a time to talk. Suggest a new idea. Train yourself to make decisions. Then share them with calm confidence. That energy, directed, stable, and clear, is magnetic. Because when you stop asking for directions and start walking your own path, the right people will want to walk beside you. Now, speak out. I lead with purpose, not fear. Number 8, I'm not good enough for you. The slow suicide of self-worth. Few phrases damage attraction more deeply than "I'm not good enough for you." It may sound humble. It may even seem romantic, like a selfless admission of her value. But in truth, it's emotional sabotage. It's handing her a mirror of your own insecurity and asking her to pretend she doesn't see it. In Stoic terms, this phrase is the rejection of your own nature. Epictetus taught, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you declare yourself unworthy, you enslave your identity to fear. You tell her you don't believe in your own value, and you invite her to believe it, too. From a psychological standpoint, this phrase triggers reverse validation. She begins to doubt your status, your confidence, and worst of all, your emotional stability. A man who speaks this way is often looking for reassurance, but instead, he receives distance. Why? Because she didn't want to become your savior. She wanted to feel chosen by a man who values himself. Saying "I'm not good enough" puts her on a pedestal, and you kneeling at its base. But true attraction doesn't come from worship. It comes from connection, and connection requires eye-level respect, not emotional submission. Here's what she needs to feel instead: that you see her beauty without diminishing your own worth, that you admire her without erasing yourself. If she's a queen, then be a king. Don't tell her she's too good. Tell her, "I'm proud of the man I've become, and I think we'd be powerful together." Replace self-deprecation with self-acknowledgement. Speak with grounded confidence, instead of begging to be enough. Act like you already are and let your presence prove it. Challenge for the week. Anytime you catch yourself thinking you're not good enough, write down 3 things you offer in a relationship: emotional strength, vision, humor, resilience. Own them, speak from them, and most importantly, never give someone else the job of validating what you refuse to claim. Remember, if you act like you're beneath her, she'll start to believe it, and then she'll leave. Now comment below, "I know my worth, I don't beg for it." Number 9, the power of self-respect and self-control. How masculine silence builds lifelong desire. Attraction isn't built in your words, it's built in your frame. And your frame is made of what you tolerate, what you allow, and what you radiate. This final insight reminds us, what destroys attraction isn't always what we do, but what we fail to protect our self-respect. Many men sabotage their appeal not because they're unworthy, but because they don't act like they're worthy. They speak from fear instead of clarity. They seek permission instead of leading. They confuse vulnerability with victimhood and romance with dependence. And every time they say something like, "Please don't leave me," or "I'm not good enough," they hand over the keys to their own masculine power. True attraction begins the moment you stop chasing it. When you operate from self-respect, you create tension, not chaos, desire, not desperation. A woman is drawn not to the man who needs her to breathe, but the man who breathes just fine on his own and still chooses her. That's the masculine frame. This is where Stoicism speaks most clearly. Marcus Aurelius said, You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength in love. This means knowing your worth without proving it, expressing your care without pleading, and walking away when your value is not seen. If you avoid these 7 toxic phrases and instead build a life filled with purpose, emotional clarity, and calm leadership, you won't just keep her attention, you'll invite respect. And from that respect, deeper love can grow. Try this for 1 week. Speak only from self-respect. Catch yourself before explaining, justifying, or self-deprecating. If a conversation gets emotional, pause, breathe. Respond from strength, not from fear. Watch how people begin to mirror your energy instead of managing your emotions. A man who speaks with dignity makes others lean in. A man who over-explains makes them step back. Silence, restraint, and presence are not passive, they are power. Now, speak out and comment below. I lead with self-respect, I attract with calm. That's the truth you need to carry forward. Your value as a man isn't defined by what you say to win her over, it's rooted in how you show up for yourself. Focus on your purpose, sharpen your mind, and build a life that screams confidence. When you truly know your worth, you won't need to chase validation, she'll see it, feel it, and respect it. But it all starts with you choosing to be unstoppable. If this hit home, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below and let's get real. Have you ever caught yourself chasing approval or putting someone else above your own growth? What did you learn from it? Your story could spark the breakthrough someone else needs. I'm reading every comment, and I'll be reaching out to connect with those who share. Don't just watch, join the Man of Substance community. Hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and let's keep building together, because a man who owns his value doesn't just attract the right people, he inspires them. Keep rising, and I'll see you in the next one.